Ladies, gentlemen, theys, and thems, welcome back to another episode of the Double Kick podcast. Double the kick, double the games, double the friends we make along the way. I am one half of this amazing little thing we got here, Terry to the T. Thompson, and I'm joined as ever by my immaculate cohort, the classic, the impenetrable, the shining, the all out attacking. Dan Hoy. Dan, how's it going?
It is good to see you again. It's been some time,
It's
and believe
been
it or not, we are at the end of August, basically the end of summer.
yeah, it's getting a little chillier out, especially over here in our northeast extension of the country, and I'm very excited for it.
Yeah, I'm all about fall weather, and
Mhm.
I'm done with the heat. I haven't. It was brutal this
Mhm.
summer, with heat. So I am so excited to have the cool mornings, cool evenings, temperate
Yeah,
afternoons.
yes,
My pumpkin spice lattes, my apple picking.
got my pumpkin cold brew right here.
Really,
Yeah,
I
absolutely.
I had one first thing this morning, so we're on the same page.
Yeah, dude, I'm so excited. The summer was a little weird. Like it was definitely hot, but like I feel like there was at least a month and a half where it was just pure rain.
Oh
So
yeah,
it was weird. It didn't feel like summer at the same time because it was weird.
I can understand that. Yeah, we were at the beach recently for a week, and I guess there was a hurricane in the Gulf, off the southern coast of the country. So
Mm,
that kind of like it just came in out of nowhere. Streets were flooded. It was
mhm.
rainy, cloudy, so we didn't really get to take advantage of our time away, but we enjoyed our family time nonetheless.
That's good, man. I
Yeah.
always feel like, when you go on vacation at the beach or the boardwalk or whatever, and it rains like 1 or 2 days, like, you should get a refund for that. Because
Just
that's
the entire beach needs to be giving
yeah,
giving me a refund.
yeah, get your money back for those 2 days wasted. But, I mean, those days can be nice too. Whatever.
They have been, yeah.
Absolutely. It has been, you were saying earlier, it has been some time since we met up, had some personal stuff, like moving my family around and all that, we all had our own things, and I I was talking to you, I think it was a couple days ago, I was like, "Dan, I have so many games to talk about." I'm, like, bursting at the seams with this week's worth of the multiple weeks worth of, like, games I've been playing,
Yeah.
so I really had to to, like, find out which ones are worth talking about and that I spent the most time with, uh,
Yeah,
yeah.
I mean, I'm sure with the other games, there's a lot to talk about as well, but we got a lot to look forward to because there's so many games coming out this holiday season. Um,
Mhm.
one of the big ones coming next week, which we'll talk about.
Mm,
Uh,
mm.
and so we're trying to keep up as best as we can.
Yeah, absolutely, and you know what? You brought it up, so let me just dive into it real
Let's do it.
quickly. It's time, Dan.
The day has come.
The day has come. I've prayed for days like this, for as long as I've been alive. No, not as long as I've been alive. As long as I've, like, paid attention to, like, games and media, beginning in,
Uh-huh.
like, 2019. 2019 was when I really started to, like, listen to podcasts about video games and really start to, like, pay more attention to the industry as a whole.
Right.
Um, and a little game called Hollow Knight Silksong was announced in 2019.
Yep.
It was
6 years
announced
ago.
6 years ago.
Yeah. So
Insane,
six years of paying attention.
right? That's a whole child that's, like, beginning school at that age,
Yeah,
right?
that's
That's
going from like birth to first grade.
insane, insane. And yeah, so Silksong, originally announced as Hollow Knight DLC, which was eventually just spun off into its own game because it became, so big. And it really feels like, Dan, like, again, as long as I've been paying attention to video game news and all that stuff, Silksong has been in the background of everything. So, I've constantly heard about it. Where's Silksong? Where's Silksong? I played Hollow Knight for the first time in 2018.
Mhm.
It's kind of around when it first launched on Switch, and it really blew up. and I loved it. One of my favorite games ever, and we'll talk about it. I think that's on my list right now to talk about a little
Mhm.
later on once we dive into the games. So, obviously beat Hollow Knight, loved it. And I was itching for more, and then the constant ever looming presence of Silksong, and watching all these Nintendo Directs and having the chat be filled up with "Where's Silksong? Where's Silksong? Where's Silksong?"
Yeah, there is the, routine, Hollow Knight character with the clown
Oh
outfit
yeah.
on the bench, right?
Oh yeah, that you could I that's you could depend on seeing that meme more than you can depend on seeing Silksong in anything.
What are we
Uh,
gonna do without it now?
I don't know. I don't know, I'm so sad. And that's one thing about it too, is like when Silksong does come out, what are these Nintendo Directs gonna be filled with now? Like with
I
where's Metro Pride 4, I guess? Like,
I guess so. Silksong was such a carrot in front of our faces, though,
yeah,
for a
yeah.
long time, and I think what was astonishing was there was no news. There's
Mhm.
nothing, and if you really wanted to learn more about the game, it was, like, cryptic. It was
Right.
like, "Oh, it's on the Steam, like, shop now," or, like,
Yeah.
like, I don't know,
They, like,
made some
rated it
type
in,
of
like, South
yeah,
Korea. Yeah.
exactly,
Yeah, yeah.
exactly.
Just these tidbits of, like, information, and it's I kinda like that about it. Obviously, I hated it because, you don't hear anything, and you're vying for more news, but at the
Right.
same time, it's like, I think that makes the release of it more fun. You
Mhm,
don't know much of anything, you haven't heard much of anything, and, Jason Schreier from Bloomberg just put out, his article interviewing the devs of Silksong, and the overarching theme of it all was just, the developers. It's a small team out in
mhm,
Australia, mostly just two guys and a bunch of contractors. They were just, noses down and making the game. There really wasn't much more to it. They made so much money off of Hollow Knight, 15 million sales, I believe, that they could just fund these multiple years of just, making the game without much trouble, which is really like the indie developer dream. Like you have one big hit that can fund the next one so well that you're not stressed for time. And yeah, they were really just saying like, "Hey, we were just having a lot of fun with making the game that it took 7 years to make, and that's really it." So,
I mean, that's great news that they had a lot of fun. They didn't feel the pressure to release something that was unfinished or broken or glitched out, right?
mhm,
Um, it kind of reminds me of back in the day when there was no internet and we kind of just had to like wait. We didn't even know like games were being announced
right?
unless you really paid attention to like some TV program or subscribed to Nintendo Power and read it like
Mhm.
front to back. But even then, I don't I don't know where I could have accessed those interviews today, right?
Yeah.
Specifically for Silksong, which in a way, yes, it's exciting. In the other way, it's like I re is this a Half-Life 3 situation?
Right, is this vaporware?
Yeah, yeah.
This does not exist. Yeah, I mean, that's a great point too. Like, we live in such a day and age of constant media. Like, a game's getting developed, and not all the time, but, like, most of the time, we see the development stages from, like, beginning to end. The developers are constantly tweeting about it. If it launches in early access, we get in from the start, and we get to see how it develops from start to beginning. If it's a crowd-funded game, they'll show off, the progress of it all. But yeah, with Silksong, it's like I think we got a demo in 2019 when it was still being pitched as like DLC. And
Mhm.
then once it was beginning to get spun off into its own game, I think that's when they went radio silent. So yeah, like it's similar to the olden age of pre-internet before
Yeah.
figuring out things and seeing things from start to finish. But I think that's pretty cool, man. I say that now knowing that it's about to be released in, 4 to 5 days, but if you would have asked me a month ago, I'm like, "Give me something, please."
You're right, right.
So,
Now now that we know it'll be out this coming week, what are your hopes and dreams about this game?
my hopes and dreams, I don't know, I think I'm really just hoping for a good time. Like, I know it's gonna be a quality game. Honestly, I have no doubts about it, and, I hope that the developers in that interview said that they just had a really fun time making this game, and that's what took 7 years. I hope that feeling that they had about this, like, that great time making the game translates into the game itself, you know? So I hope that that shows. And I'm just
Mhm.
hoping for more more great combat, more tight, fluid combat, more great, fights, and great art style. Like I'm just hoping to have a good time. And I know I will. I know I will.
I think I agree with you. If they stick to not stick, but the foundation of that game is what we played in the original Hollow Knight. I don't see them changing that up too
Mhm.
much. Um, but if they're saying they had fun with the development of it, that it's like a love story, right? It's a craft. And
Yeah.
you put that love into it, everyone else experiences it when they play it.
Oh yeah.
And that's the art form here. So I feel pretty optimistic about it too.
Mhm.
Um, will I remember what the differences are between Hollow Knight and Silk Song? I don't know. Probably not. I'm not replaying it,
Sure.
but I am looking forward to it.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm curious to see like Hornet just from her fights in Hollow Knight. She seems to have like more in her arsenal. You know, she can
Mhm.
like throw her needle around. She had those traps she could set up when you're fighting her. She had those like thread whips that she could like whip around her. And
Oh, the
then
worst. That
oh
always got
dude.
me.
It's,
Always. I do remember that.
yeah, it's so hard, man, so hard. And then the knight had a lot in his arsenal, but I think comparatively, not as much as Hornet. I mean, but towards the end, you get a lot, especially with your charms and all that.
Oh,
So
yeah.
I'm curious to see what they will add, like combat wise, what they will allow in your kit, because it's a little different when you're playing her versus fighting her as a boss. So we'll see, we'll see.
Yeah. Did you fully 100% complete Hollow Knight?
I beat the base game 100%.
Mhm.
So I didn't dive into like there's 2 DLCs. There's like a boss rush DLC towards the end. I didn't do that. And I did a little bit of the first one. It's kind of like a circus themed, whatever. But I definitely beat the main game and then the secret boss ending or whatever 100%. So
Nice.
I enjoyed that very, very much. And
Yeah.
yeah, it's such a good game, man. Such a good game. And they're launching Silksong at 20 bucks.
At $20, like, how could you build the temptation and the delay of gratification for 6, 7 years?
Mhm.
People are itching, breaking, ripping at the seams to get this game, and it's only $20. That's
Only
unheard of.
$20. Isn't that crazy? Like, I mean, I think Hollow Knight's around the same price, but it's like, in this day and age when everything's expensive, when games are like $80 now, $90 sometimes, it's like the most wish listed game on Steam, the game that everyone's been talking about for 6, 7 years, it's coming out at $20. It's insane.
It is. It shows that these 2 developers and contractors are not in it to be billionaires.
Mhm.
They really wanna share their craft with the world and, just appreciate the art for what it is.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. It's a breath of fresh air, honestly.
Oh,
Can I
yeah. It's very, very encouraging. So I hope beyond Silk Song, they continue to do more work and maybe in shorter time frames.
Yeah, right. Please, absolutely. Yeah, so that's our little preamble, and we were talking about Hollow Knight a lot. So let's just dive into the games, Dan. And I'll start this one off really quick since I already did a lot of rambling about it. I have been replaying Hollow Knight in anticipation for Silk Song's release. This time I'm playing it on my little I don't have it around me. My little Odin 2 mini, little like
Mhm.
Android device I have. There's an unofficial like Android release of Hollow Knight. So I've been playing it on there. It's a lot of fun. I think what I like most about Hollow Knight, and it's really like showing through as I'm replaying it, is just there's no guesswork when it comes to the game. So what
Mhm.
I mean by that is like the controls are so tight. Like you make a jump, you know exactly where you're going to land. You're able to kind of like control the descent and kind of ascent of your jumping and your landing. The fights, especially when you're pogoing off of an enemy
Yeah.
because you're like swiping down at them, it feels so good.
Yeah.
Just the fluidity of the movement, and the boss fights, and I've said it before. I think I've said it before on the podcast even. especially some of the boss fights, like, for example, the mantis lords at the end. When you get into the groove of these fights, like, it really feels like a dance.
Yes,
And, that can be
absolutely.
right, and that can be said for, like, you know, from soft boss fights, Elden Ring, Sekiro, for all these different reasons, and in Hollow Knight, it's just like you're on a 2D plane, obviously, so, you're jumping around, you're avoiding, you're trying to find when to get your hits in, when's the best time to charge up and heal versus to release your magic blast, and you're balancing this meter of the soul that you're collecting from the enemies. So you're like, should I use this to heal or should I use it to an attack?
Hmm.
And then the dance of it all, the back and forth. So much fun. And that's what I enjoy about the combat. And then that's supplemented by just this like beautifully haunting like art style. This
Oh
like
yeah.
it's again, it's like it's super from soft coded because you're in this dying kingdom that's way past its prime. Like the king's nowhere to be seen, but there's like these stories of him littered throughout the lands of how great he was and how much life he brought to the land. And then you're looking at the land, you're like, everything's dead. What happened here?
Yeah.
And then there's this like mysterious infection that's going on. So it's like you're uncovering these pieces of the story and the land as it's going on through the tablets that are littered throughout the land and throughout the denizens. So like the citizens that are left behind, as few of them as there are, and then the bosses. Like the bosses aren't just obstacles in your way, but they're story pieces.
Oh yeah.
You got Hornet, obviously. She's a major component of the story as well. But then everybody else, like every other boss, fills in just a little bit of the story here and there. And
Hmm.
especially when you unlock the dream nail and you're able to like hit them with the dream nail, and then their thoughts are exposed to you, so you can like figure out kind of what they're thinking and where their place is in
Hmm.
the world according to them, right? And according to how they view themselves in the world. So it's just this like really great game, like just wrapped into this like really tight combat system, really tight story that doesn't show itself. It doesn't. What's the word? It doesn't exposition dump onto you. It lets
Yeah.
you, realize it along the way. And it makes for a great. Not only does it make for a great first playthrough, I think it makes for great replayability as well.
Oh, absolutely. The best way I could describe this game is that there's more than meets the eye,
Mhm.
right? On the surface, you're like in a bug world. At
Right.
the very, very foundation of it, it's a
Yeah.
lot of bugs,
It's a lot of bugs.
cartoonish, really layered personalities and things like that. But as you said, you don't get to those layers unless you get the dream nail. You fight your optional bosses, right? You read every bit of information and tidbit that's available to you.
Mhm.
Um, I think that was such a pleasant surprise when I played it for the first time way back when. Um, and like I agree with what you said about like the mechanics and the combat. Very tight. When you die or make a mistake, you know exactly what went wrong,
Yep. Mhm.
and you go and you pay attention to that sequence, right?
Mhm.
Everything is on you, and it's not so much um, luck. I guess it's very skill based, but it makes the dying a little bit more tolerable, knowing that this is pinpointed where I could correct it or get better.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. I think you made a great point. It's like it's very skill based. Like you get some upgrades like charms and stuff that augment your abilities. You could do a couple extra things, but really like when you die, you learn from that and
Yeah.
you adjust yourself and you do really do feel yourself getting better at the game by the end. You're more familiar with how the knight jumps and moves. Like you really get a second sense of okay, this is how high I can jump and this is where I'll land. And if I pogo off of this, I can get over there. And this interacts with this in this way. Um, and it makes for the perfect package. And it's like it's organic. It feels very organic when you start to get better.
Right.
You're
Right.
not there's not really RPG mechanics. You're not leveling up you can make your nail a little stronger and stuff like that,
Hmm.
but it's really organic when it comes to I feel myself getting better, not just as a player, but just, as a gamer, you know what I'm saying?
Mhm, mhm. Oh,
But,
yeah.
yeah, no, great time, great time. Absolutely. But that's that. It's a I've talked Hollow Knight to death, and once Silk Song comes out, I'm gonna save it all for the Silk Song, Dan, but,
I'm excited.
oh, dude, I'm so excited. I am
Yeah.
so freaking excited to really just fall in love with Silk Song. It's kinda like I'll be, like, dating Silk Song, you know what I'm saying, when it comes out, but, I can't date everything, Dan, I've got a fiancé now, so I'm engaged. But,
But but I am
apparently
dating everything.
but apparently you're dating everything, so, I guess tell me about that.
I am dating everything. It is, a game I'm playing on Steam. I'm gonna pull it up really quick, that I'm having a good time with. I'm trying to take my time through it. Um, I guess jumping ahead a little bit, I don't like a lot of, like, text-based games. Well, a lot of talking, basically.
Mhm.
I like some action sprinkled in here and there.
It's an interesting game to
Um
pick then.
And it was a game I picked this about basically social relationships. It's not always, dating, but it was a game released earlier this summer in June 17th, by Team 17, published by Team 17, developed by Sassy Chap Games.
Mhm.
And it is a silly game. So very, very basic premise. I'm this guy. Well, I assigned myself as this guy who works from home, lives by himself. Um, some shenanigans happen with his remote job, and he is mysteriously sent these rose colored glasses. And so he puts them on, and all of the objects in his home uh, come alive. They're
Mhm.
anthropomorphized. What a mouthful. Um, but basically, this guy can talk to any object in his home. And as long as the rose colored glasses are on, it's a person.
Mhm.
It is a person with an entire personality, history, name, whatever. It's like a dating sim, exactly what it sounds like. And it is a silly, silly game. And I'm so happy I tried it out. And I'll continue to play it, of course.
Mhm.
Um, but the first like 2 hours I've been playing it, um, I am laughing like
Yeah.
not nonstop, but pretty frequently. Very clever names for a lot of these pieces of furniture um, and objects. I forget them off the top of my head, but um, it's it's a beautiful game, beautifully like visually. Voice acting. Every item in the home has a different voice actor.
Nice.
Um, some more reputable than others, but everyone
Yeah, I was
does
about to
a
say
great job.
there's some big names in there. I think,
Yeah.
Ben Starr, Neil Newbon
Mhm,
from,
mhm.
Baldur's Gate in there? Yeah, some, like, really, really big names.
Yeah, yeah, and you talk about, like, having fun developing this game. The script is, like it is so clever, it's very
Mhm,
witty. So, basically, I have to go around and try to formulate as many relationships as I can for some reason, um, and you could either enter, like, a romantic relationship with someone,
mhm,
be friends with someone, or be enemies from what I know so far.
sure.
Um and all of the items, but all the people are aware of each other's existence,
Oh, cool.
so they like interact with each other. Sometimes they'll butt into the conversation I'm having with someone else. But I think if I were to compare it to any game I've played before, it reminds me of um, a dating sim or like a social sim like you would see in Persona,
Mhm.
and then the Stanley Parable.
I was literally about to say Stanley Parable, just
Yeah,
like the vibes of it and how
yeah,
ridiculous it
yeah,
is.
because it is first person view, and there's a little bit of a narration going on, but it seems like a silo by itself, and you're just clicking everything you can just to turn over that stone and see what happens.
Mhm.
there's no pressure. If you want to end the game, like end the plot of the game, you just walk out the front door and the game's
Oh,
over.
nice.
Or you could continue on and on and on and on and see what unfolds. I'm having a lot of fun with it. And I think I try to imagine myself in this situation in real life. And I'm like, would I talk to like my closet a certain way or
Hey,
my my
she has a good
bathroom?
personality.
Yeah, yeah, apparently. Um, but it just it's an interesting perspective on the like the social the dating sim. Um, and I'm so curious to see what happens next.
Yeah, absolutely. Mal's been playing this on the Steam Deck, and she's been having a ton of fun. Just like again, like you said, clicking and turning over the rock and finding out if you can actually talk to this, and then the arts, the what's it called, the avatars for all of these like household objects are really really well done. Like they look so cool and well drawn out, and like you said, so creative too. Like the way that this team made the sink look and made the guy who represents the closet and the light fixture and the electrical plug, like so many different things. Like they have such well crafted avatars, like hand I don't know if I mean they look hand drawn.
Mhm,
And then the voice acting behind it, it's so well thought out from what I've seen her play and all that. So well thought out, and the dialogue seems like actually like pretty deep too,
mhm,
and
mhm.
like really, you really feels like a person, you're talking to.
Absolutely, absolutely. One of
It's
the things
cool.
I really appreciate about this game, and it's like it's not even that big a thing, but when you get into it's almost like a sensitive or like just basically a sensitive topic
Mhm,
that someone might be triggered by or just doesn't feel comfortable like integrating into their gameplay, you could turn on like warnings basically. So it's integrated into a character, into your rose colored glasses, where the main guide or narrator will say, hey, this conversation's going to evolve into XYZ.
mhm,
And so you may hear this, and some people might not like that. Do you want to include those elements
mm,
or remove them? It doesn't change the outcome, it doesn't change the options. Um, it just adds a different light, different perspective to it without triggering the player. So I think that's been really, really thoughtful by the
I like that, yeah.
developers, um, because there's hundreds of different characters, different personalities and backgrounds and
Mhm,
histories, that it's going to include everything, every aspect of life. Um, and so I think that is a great deal of respect to its players.
mm,
Um, and like this awareness that like we don't know who's going to pick up the game and could be someone who is going through something or
yeah.
has gone through something. Let's just be sensitive to it, and I think that is very admirable.
Making my microwave go woke with all these accessibility options, man.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
it's disgusting. No, no, that's awesome, man. Like you said, it's, 1,000 well, not 1,000, hundreds of different characters, like you said, it's gotta include the good, the bad, and the ugly and all that, so
Yeah,
I love accessibility options these days and just, like,
yeah.
having that option at least be there for people that,
Hmm.
go through that kinda stuff and are more sensitive. That's awesome.
And you wouldn't think it's an accessibility option either. It's because it's embedded into the game, so in the character. So um, it's a clever way of doing it.
Yeah, absolutely. This game definitely giving off the Stanley Parable vibes. It's just the ridiculousness of it all, and it's so creative, man. Like, we say it all the time, but video games has evolved in such a way where, this concept right here is just you can date everything in your house and the microwave, the cupboard, and all that. So amazing.
I tried to explain it to somebody who's not really into video games,
Sure.
and that it's not really a look, but the silence you get when like people don't really know what to say after you like propose something.
Yeah.
Oh man, silence was deafening, and the only thing I was thinking about was Dan, stop talking. Do not say anything more.
Oh,
Just say that it's
no.
fun and move on.
Please don't tell them how long you spent with a light bulb yesterday. Amazing. What did,
Yeah.
has Katie has said anything about the game?
She watched me, like, boot it up and play it. She's from what I understand, she thinks it's funny,
Nice.
but super strange,
Sure,
very odd. Not like
sure.
the games that, she's used to watching me play,
Mhm,
like Star Wars or any of, like, the Soulsborne games, dark and gritty, like, themes and stuff. This is,
mhm.
like, just silly. So, uh, I hope that it hasn't, stopped her from wanting to watch my playthroughs, but, yeah, that's
It
alright if it does.
it's a spectrum for sure.
Oh, yeah. It's a very diverse spectrum.
Absolutely. That's awesome, man.
Yeah, so we'll see how that goes. But that's all I got for Did Everything. Let's say we take a quick break and then come back with a few more games we're playing.
Let's do it. Ladies and gentlemen, we are back better than ever. I could edit that out and try again, but I think we're gonna leave it in there just for organic purposes. You know,
That's fine. Yeah,
people
we're
make
real people.
mistakes. We're real
Yeah.
people. We're real people. Speaking of real people and real things, Dan, this is something I don't know if I ever expected this remake, remaster to like ever really be a thing. I don't know if I ever expected Konami to make any more video games after they kind of like stopped after a while.
Yeah.
Um, but Metal Gear Solid Delta, can you tell me a little more about this?
Yes, Metal Gear Solid Delta is a remake of Metal Gear Solid 3 Snake Eater.
Okay.
That came out in 2004, and it's a game that I just started playing a couple days ago. I am thrilled that they remade this game. But just like you, I didn't expect it. Now that Kojima's not in the picture,
Mhm.
he's off doing his thing, his Death Stranding 2 thing. I just thought Metal Gear was going to be put to bed. So this is kind of like, I don't know, it seems like a last hurrah that they're bringing it back. Um, but man, this is super nostalgic for me because Metal Gear was the first Metal Gear game that I played,
Mhm.
completed, and just like craved for more.
Oh, nice.
And when I played it, I borrowed it from my cousin, as well as his PlayStation,
Mhm.
and it was like a special, not a special, but basically a director's cut called Subsistence.
Mhm.
And so it had the base game, it had like a bunch of extras. My favorite extra in this game, both the original and the remake, is it's basically Ape Escape.
Okay, yeah, okay.
And so Snake has to go around the woods trying to basically play Ape Escape
It's like the
and
actual
catch some
apes too,
apes.
right?
It's the actual apes. And
Nice.
it's silly. It's like the contrast between like the drama of Metal Gear Solid and the seriousness and that grittiness and that historical vibe.
Mhm.
When you contrast it with anything that's just slightly or even remotely humorous, oh man, it's so funny.
So cool.
Um, and it has nothing to do ever with the story or gameplay. It comes out of left field. It's almost like shock, and it's refreshing. And I think that's part of what I love about this series. But yeah, back to the remake itself. It's almost like guerrilla warfare is introduced to the game, and Snake needs to learn to survive off of the land,
Mhm.
off of animals and plants. You get his famous box, but the characters in this game are super in depth.
Mhm.
Um, you could say that about a lot of games, especially Konami and Kojima games. Um, but for it to be my first Metal Gear experience, I am looking forward to revisiting these characters, seeing them again. Um, of course, remastered visuals and like mechanics and stuff, but to see like a different dimension. I have the trailer up, so Ape Escape
Nice.
is like happening in front of me right now.
Oh, yeah.
Um, I I'm so excited to revisit that depth.
Yeah. Yeah,
The
absolutely.
the last Metal Gear game I played was 5, Phantom Pain, which I loved.
Mhm,
Can't say I fully understand it, but who
mhm.
fully understands a Kojima game?
Yeah,
Um,
honestly.
but I with a lot of remakes that have been released overall the past couple years, it's like being an adult kid again.
Yeah, dude, it's really cool that, like you said this was your first one, Metal Gear Solid 3?
Mhm,
Ah,
mhm.
that's awesome that the first one you played is the one that gets the treatment for it. And
Yeah,
this one's a prequel to the entire series, right? Like, is
I believe
the
so.
case? Okay.
It's a prequel, and I again, it's hard to comprehend. There's like
Mhm.
all the games that have been released chronologically jump all over the place in terms of
Sure.
timeline and story. Um, but yeah, it is a prequel, almost like the beginning of like who Snake is. Um, and then I'm willing to say the story in Metal Gear Solid 5 is the sequel, but I could be very, very wrong. Any
Sure.
fan, feel free to comment and correct me. Um, but there's something about being a spy, a tactical spy in the combat fields, um, that's just so alluring to me.
Mhm.
It may have inspired me to be that sneak archer every time.
Man, every time, every time.
um, and it Snake is such a great character, and I think there's like some predictability with him and how he interacts with people and conflict and the story and stuff. But there's also that surprise, like I said, with something that comes out of left field. You're like, oh, that makes a lot of sense, and it adds so much more
Mhm,
to what's going on. So I booted it up maybe 2 nights ago,
mhm.
and it's one of those games where the remix, especially when I just like look at the title screen, I think, oh my god, I'm about to play this again in a
Ah,
completely different way. And I did it with Final Fantasy VII Remake, where I just stare at the title screen for like
mhm,
5 minutes. I play around with options, and I don't even start the game. I'm just like taking it all in, like as if you wanted to go back and re-experience a game for the first
mm.
time. It's right in front of me.
There's the games that, can do that to you, where it's either like, "Oh, this is a remake of something that it means so much to me," or, "This is a game that I've been waiting on forever." Like, I think,
Mhm.
like, I'm gonna do that for Silksong. I did it for God of War Ragnarok.
I did too. Yeah.
Yeah, right? When the next Elder Scrolls comes out, it's like you're just gonna sit on that title screen and be like, "Man, here we go." Like, this
Yeah.
means so much, yeah.
Absolutely. There's only one game where I didn't do that, but I was excited for it, and it's Baldur's Gate 3,
Okay.
because I don't like the theme song, the opening theme song.
Yeah, yeah.
To me, it's just like it's a bunch of voices kinda, like, just moaning random notes in the background. Yeah.
Oh.
I'm like, I don't enjoy this at all. I wanna get through this as quickly as possible.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie, Dan, I don't like it very much either.
Yeah, the next time we boot up our campaign, just listen for a little bit longer, right?
Yeah, not it's definitely iconic and, like, I could definitely recognize it anywhere, but I just don't like it very
Yeah, it's not like the Halo theme song where it's like, "Okay, this is inspiring and I'm ready to go." This
Mhm.
is like, I wanna stop all of this right
Get it off my screen.
now.
Stop moaning in my ear.
But yeah, I booted up, Metal Gear Solid, and as as we all could have predicted, the first
Oof.
30, 40 minutes of the game is all cutscenes, tutorials, how to save, which frequency you need to call to talk to a certain person.
Mhm.
I do appreciate it, but in the Kojima fashion, it's it's like an opening to a movie. It is an opening to a movie. You're seeing the credits kind of like fade in and out, and the voice over actor name pop up. Um, when a character is introduced,
Mhm.
things like that, which I've come to expect. But it's all part of the process. I probably could skip it, but I think it would take away from that nostalgia, I feel.
Yeah, at least for the first time, like, first playthrough, like, just let it all
Mhm,
soak in, and I like that they kept all that, like, obviously Kojima's not a part of it, with this whole situation with Konami, but it's nice that, like, from the reviews I've seen of the game, people have said, like, it's really sticking to the original, obviously with upgraded visuals and gameplay and all that, but it's, like, really sticking, close to what it was, and
mhm.
that's nice to hear that the
Yeah,
magic and the charm is
absolutely.
still there.
It's absolutely still there, and, I think, I appreciate the option for, like, classic controls as back in 2004,
Mhm,
or modern controls that we kinda evolved to use for a lot of, like, third-person shooters, action
mhm.
RPGs, and things like that. Um, but yeah, it stays true to its name, and I'm glad Konami decided to move through with it without Kojima and kinda, like, pay respects to it
Yeah,
and
yeah,
Kojima.
it's definitely like a tight rope they need to walk where it's like, we really, you know, did this guy over one, but he gave us these incredible games, and you don't want the fans of Metal Gear to go without because it's such a great IP and so
Mhm.
obviously iconic. So how do you know, pay respects to Kojima and what he did and the IP, but also give them something new. With these remakes, it could have went in the opposite direction. Like it could have
Oh,
been
yeah.
something totally different and all that. But a tightrope to walk for sure.
For sure. Yeah, and you make a good point, like, Metal Gear Solid, Snake himself is such an iconic character, is like a household name in the gaming
Mhm,
families, right? Um, Even if you don't play or haven't played Metal Gear Solid, or you played something like Smash Brothers, right?
mhm,
He was one of the selectable characters,
right.
at least in Ultimate, right? Just Ultimate, right? Um,
Ultimate and Brawl, I think.
I believe he was in Brawl. Yeah.
Yeah, because he wasn't
Um,
in Wii U and the 3DS one. I think that
Gotcha.
was the
Yeah, I do remember that. Um, but he's such a household name at this point, at least for my family. Katie was like, "Is this the game with the guy in the box?"
ah, hey.
And she's like, "Is he gonna have the box in the woods?" I'm like, he has to. That he's Snake."
Aw, I love that.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Is this the guy with the box? No, but you make that's for real. Like, again, I've never played a Metal Gear Solid game, but I know about Snake, and I know about the box, like, he's iconic. This is one of those iconic video game franchises that have, cemented video games, cemented, like, the PlayStation,
Oh, yeah.
itself, like, I feel like the PS2, even
So
the
good.
PS1. So
PS1, yeah, it came on the demo disc for PS1, I believe. So everyone got to see Metal Gear from, the top down, like 8-bit sprite to fleshed out 3D as best as it could for the
mhm.
PS1. And it was a big game. So I'm very happy that they kept up with it this time around.
Yeah, I'm happy too. I'm just happy that, Metal Gear's not dead. It's
No.
it's it's, still coming out, so I'm excited to see what's next.
Yeah. And I'll let you know after the next feature film that I boot up in a couple nights.
Yeah, let me know when you can actually start playing the game.
Yeah, right.
Jesus Christ.
It's funny because it was between that and Death Stranding 2. Which one was I going to start? Um, I was like, what are the pros and cons here? Both kind of the same structure, both very
Mhm.
long games, very dense characters and stories.
Right. Are you
Um,
gonna are you gonna play a Kojima game or a Kojima game? Which one's it gonna be?
um, I forget what the reason. I think I was just more excited about Metal Gear, but I'm also excited about Death Stranding 2 in the future. So
Oh, yeah.
that's coming down the pike for me.
Absolutely. You got great games on the horizon.
Mhm.
Absolutely.
With that said, I don't have a segue for this one. Actually, no, I do have a segue for this one.
Mhm.
I am playing Gear Delta,
Uh-huh.
and I know it's not as common to play a game that has Delta in the title, but I get
Uh-huh.
the sense that you are playing. I'm just gonna say Deltarune. There was no segue there. I
Right,
was
right.
trying really hard.
No, 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 that's okay. I put these 2 together when I was, like, making the list of the show, and I did not
Yeah.
even realize that Metal Gear Delta and then Deltarune, I didn't realize I put them together. Uh, yeah, Dan, I finished obviously finished Undertale, a month or so ago, maybe 2 months ago at this point, off of your recommendation, of course.
Mhm.
Loved it. Had a great time. I got the neutral ending at first, and then you go back and get the true pacifist ending. Great final boss, great music, just great vibes all around. I obviously wanted to dive into Deltarune. Deltarune being the sequel to Undertale, but it's like technically, I think Toby Fox has called it like a parallel story. So it's
Mhm.
not truly a sequel, but there's a lot of the same characters. They're in different roles and stuff like that. But it's been a lot of fun. So I think chapter one and two came out at the same time in 2018. Yeah, the first two chapters were released for free in 2018 and 2021. Okay, so 2018 the first chapter, 2021 the second one. And I think they're on chapter three or four now, maybe in five.
Okay.
Something like that, yeah. But it's a lot of fun, and yeah, a lot of characters are in different roles. So, Undyne, the knight that's like stalking you, and like not your nemesis, but definitely like rival or whatever. In Undertale, she's now playing like a traffic cop in
Oh, really?
Deltarune in Chapter One. Yeah, like there's this like town you live in. Um, Toriel, who was like your mother figure in Undertale One, she's like your actual mother now in like
Oh.
Deltarune, and you like live with her. Your brother is away to college, and your brother in who in Deltarune in Undertale, he was like the Toriel and Azrael's son that like died or whatever. He's like your actual brother now, and he's still alive.
Mhm.
And it's cool to see like how these characters are in like different roles in Deltarune. And it's a lot of fun. You play as this human character named Chris, and you are traveling with your high school, like the bully of your high school. Her name is Susie. You and Susie, you get like partnered up in school or whatever, and then you fall down this like rabbit hole into like the dark world, and you meet Rousey, who's the prince. So it's you three and traveling. You have to. There's an overarching story that's it's really cool. Kind of like unimportant to be
Mhm.
relaying. The point is, the vibes are there, the interactions with other characters is still there. Like the Undertale charm is 100% there, and it's turn based now. So you and your two other party members, you take turns whether you're gonna again spare your enemies or fight them. What's really cool in chapter one, Dan, is the bully character, Susie. So when you meet her, she's kind of like, she's still a bully. She's like bullying you. She's not with this whole saving the world thing, and she's really violent. So like the third character you meet, Rousey, he or she, I'm not sure of the genders, they're trying to convince you like, hey, maybe we should spare these monsters. Like, we shouldn't like go around killing everybody. But Susie's like, nah, I'm just gonna do whatever I want. So while you're in battle, Dan, at least to start, you don't control Susie. So you only control Chris and Rousey, and Susie is no matter what you do, she's trying to like kill the monster. So you're
Mhm.
on this like ticking time clock in these battles where it's like I have to find out how to spare them in enough time so Susie doesn't kill them. So it's really cool. You're fighting like against her, against these other people, and it's a cool like little system. But
Yeah.
she comes around towards the end and all that, so it's a nice like character development moment, and there are lots of nice character development moments in there. But, no, it's just a really good time. The humor is there, like,
Mhm.
100%. There's this moment in chapter 1 where you're walking around, and you're walking at kinda like a slow pace, kinda like the same pace you walk in Undertale. Um, and then, like, the one I think Ralsei turns to you, is like, "Hey, you can, like, hold down the B button to run, right? Like, why are you walking so slow?" It's like, "Oh, okay, yeah, so let's do that." And then kind of spoilers for Deltarune Chapter 2, which I started up yesterday. Um, you start off the game, you do like your little intro cutscene, then you start walking around, and then like Susie turns to you is like, dude, We keep telling you, "Why are you walking so slow? Hold B to run." It's like, "Oh my god. Okay, I'm going, I'm going." But it's
Oh
just
man, the
it's so
awareness in
good.
that game.
Yeah, the awareness is great. The character moments are there, and again, I love seeing the returning characters just in different roles, and it's like it's the characters that like it's like the Persona thing where you finish the game and you're like, "Man, I miss my friends, like, I wish I
Yeah,
could have, like, one more adventure with them." The same thing with Undertale, like, man, I miss Sans, I miss Undyne, like, I wish they were here." And then now they're here just in, like, different contexts, but, they
right.
have the same personality and all that. So,
I
yeah.
was gonna ask him, like, do you feel like it was a cheap, like, copy and paste into a different game? Or do you feel
No,
like they're fleshed out on their own again?
yeah, fleshed out on their own again. It's like the complete opposite. Like it's a it's a it's a copy and paste, but then they like italicize the font and then they bolden it and then
Yeah,
they they switched up a few words so it's not the same as the original. It's I think it's really great that they did like this little like parallel story as opposed to like a full fleshed out sequel. Just to
mm,
like, remix the story, remix the characters, and kind of like tell a different story. And again, I'm only on I just finished chapter one. I think there are 4 or 5 out now, so we'll see how
right.
it goes towards the end. But there's a little twist at the end of chapter one with when it comes to your main character, and it's like, "Ooh, there's something else going on here that I wasn't fully
Mhm.
aware of." So we'll see how that goes, and, but yeah,
It's a
it's,
fourth wall break. It's always a fourth wall break.
yeah.
Always. I learned that from Undertale, and I'm just this guy likes fourth wall breaks. I
So I'm sorry to tell you, Dan, yeah.
That's alright. That's okay. I stumble upon them.
Yeah, absolutely, but I think it's worth your time. I think, if you enjoyed Undertale, Dan, you'll definitely enjoy Deltarune.
Yeah, I may
Yeah.
give it a go. I'm surprised it's being released in chapters.
Mhm.
I don't know why. And it's not like it bothers me or anything. It's very unique. I'm not used to seeing it like that.
It is, it is. I was wondering that too, and then I was, like, going through, like, the pros and cons of it all. The cons obviously being it's taken a long time. The first one came out in 2018, and here we are, like, what, 7, 8 years later? But I
Mhm.
think the pros is, like, I think it's a small team still. I think it's Toby Fox, and he might have a development team now. But the pros being like this is something that you can keep coming back to as the next one releases and like always dip back into it and see how it's coming along. You're not just, devouring it fully as one package and then never talking about it again. So pros and cons, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, it definitely gets stretched out over time, but, I'm thinking, like, we were just talking about Silk Song, and, like, it's I wonder if it's at the same rate of development as Silk Song is. It's just we
Oh
got it
yeah.
in increments versus one big game.
Hmm.
Um, but it doesn't really matter at this point. As long as you're enjoying it and, people there is a wide fan base.
Yeah.
People are have, like, a cult following for, Deltarune and, not Undertale. Yeah, Undertale.
Hmm.
Um, but I think it deserves it. It's a very clever game. It's, got great music, like you said,
Hmm.
visuals, character, like, development is, like, the strongest facet of that game, I think.
Yeah.
Um, and so to see it go chapter to chapter is like people waiting for sequel to sequel for video games, movies, what have you.
Hmm.
So I think that's what keeps that fire burning in a lot of the players.
Yeah, absolutely. And in the meantime, between chapters, there are 10 million other games to play all the time. So
Oh,
it's,
always.
it's like
Yeah,
not, yeah, it's not like we're too hungry out here. But
right,
yeah,
exactly.
that's Deltarune for you, baby. When I finish chapter two, I'm sure I'll bring it back.
Hmm.
But until then, Dan, how about we take a quick little break and come back with some more games afterwards?
Let's do it.
Let's do it, baby. Dan, we're back. We're back on the saddle. We're back at it. I've been playing a little bit, not a little bit. I've been playing a good amount of DK Bonanza these days. In my opinion, like the first big release for the Switch 2, like at least
Hmm.
exclusive wise. We had Mario Kart World at the beginning, but DK Bonanza was like, the first post Mario Kart, I guess,
Yeah.
release for the Switch too. It's been a lot of fun. I think I've talked about it on an episode or two of Bonus Level. So this is my first time bringing it up for our little shtick here. But it's been a lot of fun. I'm a good couple hours in. If we're speaking progress wise, you get these transformations called Bananzas, and I think there are like 5 in the game, and I've got the second one. So that's kind of where I'm at, and I'm having a good time. And the world is a lot of fun to break apart and destroy. Like you really do just have this like godlike ability to wreak havoc upon the world, like punch through just about anything. There are some things
Hmm.
that you can't punch through just for like level design purposes and all that. But it really scratches that itch in the back of my brain when I kind of just want to turn my brain off and go destroy some things. And
Hmm. Hmm.
it's been a lot of fun. You can definitely tell that this game was developed by the Mario Odyssey team, just in
Right.
terms of creativity, level design, throwing you in there and letting you go in there and ape around and wreak havoc. And not just but the game doesn't just stop at like, destroy this and have fun. Like there are kind of like Breath of the Wild style shrines that you can like go into, so it separates you from like the overworld area, and you go into like these like more designed levels. And they can range from anything from you go into this shrine like thing and destroy a boss, you go into another shrine and find 3 bananas. Or you go into another shrine and it's a classic Donkey Kong Country side scroller
No
where
way.
yeah, and it's so cool. And you do a side scrolling level. And it's super creative, and there's so much love in this game. And admittedly I've fallen off a little bit just to play some other games, but it's something that I never like feel bad about coming back to and just dipping my toes back in. You're not it's not super story heavy, so when you come back to it, it's not like you are forgetting much of anything. It's mostly
Right.
about the gameplay and the fun factor of it all.
Mhm.
And it's a really great 3D platformer. Donkey Kong is so back, and his redesign and his personality is so much fun to discover. His interactions with Pauline are so cute and so fun, and it's a great little adventure. And I think it's a great staple of the Switch too, in
Yeah.
terms of performance and in terms of like the new direction Nintendo's going with Donkey Kong. And it makes me excited for you know the games of the future for the Switch too, just in terms of like, oh, we can do this now that the
Hmm.
Switch One couldn't do. So it makes me excited for what Metro Prime 4 is going to look like, what the next Animal Crossing is going to look like, and just all the Nintendo games going forward, like what they can do on the Switch too.
Yeah, yeah. No, that's great that you're having such a positive experience with it. Every console has like their showcase game, right?
Hmm.
One could argue, yeah, it was Mario Kart for the Switch too, but I see Donkey Kong Bonanza more of that showcase game to say,
Absolutely.
look how much we could push the graphical like capacities, right? And look what we could do with level design and complete redesign of Donkey Kong himself.
Hmm.
It's very impressive, and I've only looked at trailers and like some gameplay. I haven't touched the game or even own a Switch 2,
Hmm.
um, but I didn't know it was the same like developing company as Mario Odyssey,
Yeah,
and I
man.
was going to say even before you brought up this game that it's almost like parallel to Mario Odyssey.
Mhm.
Uh, about time Donkey Kong had a game like that,
I know, right? I
such a
know.
beloved character. But it's cool to see that it's like it's his turn and it's this world and there's a lot of similarities, but the things that keep Donkey Kong unique and remind you what keeps him like super special is that you go to those side-scrolling levels and then go
Mhm.
back to like a 3D world. I think that's super charming, and
Yeah.
it allows anyone to pick up the game and get the full Donkey Kong experience.
Yeah, you can find joy in so many different aspects. The nostalgia pools of, like, those Donkey Kong Country levels, or just scratching that itch of wanting to just go around and break everything. It's,
Oh,
I
yeah. No, I feel that all the time.
yeah, right. It's a nice release, but it's that Nintendo magic of, not that Donkey Kong's a small character, popularity-wise by any means, but it's like he's no Mario, he's no Zelda.
Mhm.
So just to be able to give him his own game and have it feel as special as it is and as well crafted and as well loved and thought put into it, that's the Nintendo magic and how much they care for their characters and how much they're willing to, put time, effort, money, resources into giving them their own game, giving them their own and making that game feel special and unique from all these other games. Like they definitely could have made this game just another, Mario Odyssey like in terms of just like, here's your level, jump through here, jump through this hoop, do this, do that, collect your moons or whatever you did in Odyssey. But no, like they put a special twist on it, being able to just completely destroy literally everything and all that, and making Donkey Kong feel like this like big powerhouse of a character. It's so
Right.
special and unique and loved and it's again that Nintendo magic that I feel like a lot of publishers and developers wish that they could, put into their games, and it's on
Yep.
full display here on
Yep.
Nintendo specific hardware, their new hardware. It's such a cool time to be in the window of new hardware release and have all the new games come out for it. It's
Exactly.
awesome.
And to take that a step further, I think being able to destroy whatever you want is such like like you said, a staple of a Nintendo game, especially when you think about like Super Nintendo, where you might discover something on accident. So
Mhm.
it's like do push any button you can, check every wall you can, right? Try to open everything you can
Yeah.
to see what happens. And I'm sure, like an Odyssey, Bonanza has the same type of function. Just see what you find.
Yeah,
And
absolutely.
I imagine like especially me as a child, like picking up Mario 64 and it's like, what does this do? What does that do? Where does that
Mhm.
go? And that exploration is like more than half of the fun.
Yeah.
So they did like modernize it for this Switch 2 game, but it's still the same process, and it doesn't it ages very well.
It does, it does. The joy of, like you said, exploration and discovering things from the first Zelda on the NES, and you light a random bush on fire, and it shows you the staircase to
Yeah.
the
Yep.
next dungeon, as much as that sucks in 2025 or whatever. But yeah, that and like you said, Mario 64, and it's like, "Oh my god, this is the first 3D game," what really, and just finding out what this does and that does, and then going all the way to Donkey Kong Bonanza and like, if
Mhm.
I could destroy down here and dig down here, like what do I find? It's that that's the real Nintendo magic, just,
Oh, yeah.
focusing on the gameplay, focusing on these fun experiences. Not saying that Nintendo games don't have good stories sometimes, but their focus is definitely on the gameplay, on the fun factor of it all. And,
Mhm.
and
Mhm.
these games that are, they're meant for children, but they can definitely be enjoyed by adults like us as well.
For sure,
Um,
especially when you just don't wanna think and just, decompress. I think that's a great means of doing it.
yeah, absolutely. And it's like that's a valid way to enjoy a game as well. Like
Mhm.
you don't have to want to play
A
the most intense
Kojima
RPG.
game.
A Kojima game as well, right? Like these are just as valid games as well. Absolutely. Yeah, I sat through the first 2 hours of cutscenes in Donkey Kong Bonanza.
Could
And
you imagine?
oh god, that'd be
It's just the
awful.
entire Mario Brothers movie.
It's the DK rap for 3 hours, the remix.
Oh, man, I wish they brought that back for Bonanza, just some type of rendition.
Alright, it has to be in there somewhere, like, hidden in one of the
It
levels.
yeah, it might be like a climax like Mario Odyssey had,
Mhm.
in what was it, New Donk City or something like that?
Right?
Where it was like a whole production. You
Mhm.
might get that later.
I hope so, I hope so, I'll let you know. But that's DK Bonanza, man. Like I said, I'm still early-ish on. The Steam hasn't like completely gone out, so once maybe once I'm done with like my lifelong dive into Silk Song, I'll go back to it. But we'll see what's
I
up with that.
I think you're gonna finish Silk Song in one day, to be honest.
I might have to take off work for like a week just to like I don't know, do all that. do all that stuff. Whatever. Anyway, Dan, that's an echo of my past life. And speaking of echoes, you've been diving back into Echoes of Wisdom.
Yeah, Zelda Echoes of Wisdom. Took a little break um, because there, again, like you said, there's so many games to play.
Hmm.
But I wanted to just relax and play a chill game. I actually played it down during my rainy week down at the beach.
Hmm.
Um, and man, that what a fun game.
Yeah, are
Eh,
you enjoying it still?
yeah, yeah. It is reminiscent of the remake of Link's Awakening.
Hmm.
And I loved that game. It was again, it's super charming, great music, nostalgic factor, all there.
Hmm.
Um, this is a very unique way of playing a Zelda game where you actually play as Zelda herself. I actually don't know any game where you play as Zelda herself.
Yeah, I don't know. I think there were those weird like the Panasonic like what's it called like Hello Princess style
Right,
games. I think you
right,
play as during
right.
one of those, but like Nintendo wise, I don't think so, right?
No, so this is very special and very very creative. Um, you copy abilities, you copy enemies, and you conjure them up. And for a split second, I'm like, Zelda's just a conjurer. Like if she was playing Skyrim, she would be the conjuring class.
Hell yeah.
um, but you got to get really creative with how you do some enemy battles, boss fights, dungeons. Um, and the story is pretty interesting. It's not like it's super in depth right now, maybe 3 hours in.
Mhm.
Um, but I it's almost like watching a TV show as a kid, and you're like, the character's right there, he's right behind you, right? Where everyone's like, oh, the Zelda character is like going around, and I'm like, I am Zelda. I'm
That's
wearing the hood.
me.
You just yeah, and like that was Link, and so it's really interesting. The graphics, the colors, they pop like they're there, and
Mhm.
it yeah, Switch One, not outdated hardware, but it keeps up with modern games, and the top-down perspective makes it easy to play.
Mhm.
Just move screen to screen, and I again that Nintendo magic. Like I want to copy everything. I want to um, gather my like Pokemon roster of
Mhm.
monsters, so that way I can just conjure them up whenever I meet them. But you got to be really creative about it. So I am enjoying it and looking forward to finishing that game maybe sooner than some other ones that I have in my
Oh,
roster.
nice. Cool stuff, man. Yeah, I love this art style, this like toy box art style that they started up with Link's Awakening remake and obviously transferred on into Echoes of Wisdom. And I really like the Nintendo's cadence with like these Zelda games. Like, obviously they released their big budget Tears of the Kingdom, but then the next year or year after they'll release an Echoes of Wisdom. It's like a
Yeah.
smaller top down type thing, but still just as creative in different ways.
Mhm.
Um, and it's still a Zelda experience like through and through. So I'm really down with this.
Yeah, absolutely. It inspired me to, boot up Tears of the Kingdom again, and I made some nice progress there, and rediscovered the fun of just exploring, climbing, jumping, doing whatever you got to do.
So good.
Yeah. Um, so it's quite a dichotomy with the top down versus like open world 3D action RPG. Um, but bottom line, I love Zelda games, so I haven't played yet a game where I didn't like in this
Mhm.
series. I know you've said your fair share of Zelda 2 and
Whew.
some thereafter, right?
Whew.
Um, but I think whatever the experience is with Zelda, I'm in love with it. And I will show you this. I don't know if my
Okay.
camera will pick it up. My
Let's see.
wife and I had our 6 year anniversary just this past what's today, 31st on the
Mhm.
17th. And she herself gifted me this
Oh my god.
on our anniversary date. Our wedding
Ah,
anniversary's on
I love those things, man. Those
it.
style of like, it's
3D,
so
2D.
cool.
It's dangerous to go alone. We'll go together. And venturing
Oh,
together since 8/17/2019.
ah,
Um,
So
Uh,
cute.
yeah. So again, another testament, one to my marriage, of course. I love
Sure.
my wife,
Mhm.
but also my love for Zelda, and it shows.
Stop. That's so freaking cute, man. I love that. Yeah, it is again a testament to your marriage. Your wife's great, amazing person. But yeah, Zelda, amazing, amazing series, And obviously got my thoughts on the originals, but that's they're originals for a reason. Um, but yeah, like you said, there hasn't been a Zelda game that I haven't enjoyed in at least some aspect. Um, they're classics for a reason, and I'm very excited to play Echoes of Wisdom once I get to it in this little timeline of Zeldas that I'm doing.
Yeah.
They're special games for a reason. The vibes immaculate, and it's something about their simple stories of good versus evil, but it told in such this like simple fantasy world, but there's charm to it and there's history to it, and it perseveres for a reason, I guess, right?
Yeah, yeah. And the more you play, the more like iterations you play, the deeper your knowledge is. So when
Mhm,
you revisit it again in a later game, it like turns on a switch. You're like, oh, that's from like this culture of people or individuals, right?
mhm.
This is how it applies, and the timeline, all that. It all comes together, and I think that's definitely the charm in it too.
Yeah, absolutely. Let me ask you a question real quick, Dan,
Mm,
while we're on the topic of Zelda. Pat and I were talking on an episode of Bonus Level. We were talking about
mhm.
the Zelda movie that's coming out in
Yeah.
27, I think,
Yep.
2027. Um, we were discussing Link, and we were discussing on if he's going to talk in the movie or not.
Yeah.
What
Yeah.
do you think he's gonna talk or not?
I think he has to, right?
Interesting.
I think he will. And I don't like that, but I don't think it'll
Mhm,
be too strange for recent compared to the recent games, Tears of the
mhm.
Kingdom, Breath of the Wild, where voiceover has been introduced.
Right.
Um, I don't. I think with it being film media, it's hard to insert ourselves into a silent character, into a silent
Sure,
protagonist, like
sure.
you would in a video game. So I think he will have a speaking role,
Okay.
whether it's like continuous or like minimal. I don't know.
Okay. See, Pat said the same thing. Pat thinks he's gonna talk.
Yeah.
I I'm of the opinion that he's not gonna.
Hmm.
I'm
I
a
can't even imagine that though.
I can't either, but I think, it's Nintendo, so I think they could pull it off somehow. I
Yeah.
think I was telling Pat, I think there's this like golden rule that's like nailed to the office somewhere in the back of Nintendo HQ. And it's like golden rule for the Zelda franchise in every game and in every iteration of it. And the number one on that golden rule plaque is Link does not talk. So I feel like that has to apply to everything, right? So
Yeah, I mean, kind of. There are even some characters in Zelda games where like, "Hey, why aren't you talking?"
yes.
Which is kind of funny. But when I think about like the Mario movie they did recently, and for the longest time Mario didn't say anything.
True.
Um, Even in like his RPG games where it was just like gibberish, I
Mhm,
he ended up having a speaking role. Um, so I don't, I can't again, I can't imagine what it would sound like,
mhm.
but it will change. I think it will change like the personality I have in my head for him.
Yeah, I agree. I think I wouldn't be surprised if they, think of this movie franchise as separately and they do give him a speaking role and do have him talk and all that. So I wouldn't be surprised, but I don't know, man. Something in the back of my head is just telling me they're going to stick to their guns. And, there have been moments where other characters speak for him, like a Navi or
Yep.
a Fi or Fee. So I don't know.
Yeah. There have been some fan films on YouTube, animated and not animated, live action, um, that maintain that silence for Link, and they knock it out of the park. It's
Hmm.
great. But for it to be a feature film in the theaters with a wider range of people going to see it, I'm not sure how that would work. But I want to be proven wrong.
Yeah, me too. Me too. I'm excited for it though.
Yeah. I
Yeah.
hadn't really thought about it either. I don't even know who's like in the cast.
And they got a really cool, they showed who was playing Zelda and Link. They're not, like, widely known characters,
Hmm.
but they definitely, look the part, so I'm excited for that.
I gotta look into it. I know I've seen like on Reddit where they propose, like the fans would propose who would be a good fit,
Mhm.
but it's really hit or miss. So maybe
Yeah.
I'll look into that.
Yeah, look it up, man. It's good stuff.
With that said, we're approaching our final break before we get into quick hits, um, and then it's sayonara until next time. So
And
what you
then we're outta
say
here.
we take a break?
Let's do it, man. All right, Dan, we are back. Our little quick hit section, the section we talk about, a couple little things. Maybe we're not the deepest we're into, but something we do want to bring up really quickly. I've got two things here. The first one is Travis and I tested out the Elden Ring Seamless Co-op mod last night. This is a mod that is designed to do what FromSoft should have done with their multiplayer to begin with. As we all know, FromSoft games have multiplayer, but it's like they don't want you to use it at all. So
It's rocket science.
it's rocket
That's what it
science.
comes down to. Rocket science, timing, and luck.
We were playing Bloodborne, and it's like, okay, are we in the same church? Are we doing the same hand gesture? All right, stand on one foot.
Same
Okay,
password.
same password.
Yeah.
Do a jumping jack real quick, and maybe we'll connect. And yeah, so with Elden Ring, while it was a little easier than that, still wasn't the easiest thing in the world.
No.
You would go like you couldn't ride around on your horses at the same time. If one of you died, you were instantly booted back to your own world and you'd have to reconnect. You couldn't go into like just any dungeon and do it. You had to it, it was so convoluted. It was so convoluted. And this mod, Dan, I'm pleased to say that it kind of just worked right away. So Travis and I downloaded it. All we did was threw like 2 files into like the folder structure, and
Mhm.
that was that. We had to set the same password, but that was fine. Um, Once I threw an item down and Travis used his like effigy item, he instantly came into my world, right?
Instantly.
Instantly. It was like
Wow.
instantly. And we tested out like dying. So we fought a boss in an Everjail. We summoned into the Everjail. He died, so that he didn't disconnect though. So what happened was he died in that boss fight, and he instantly started like spectating me, and whatever. I died as well to the boss, and instead of being booted back to our own worlds, we respawned outside of the Stake of America at the same time, and that was that. Which
You didn't
is
have to like redo anything.
we didn't have to redo anything. We just respawned like we normally should have in a game like this.
Man,
Uh, it's so good. And items that are around the world. So if there's an item on the ground, I can pick it up, but it still exists there for Travis, so he could pick it up as well.
cool.
So you can get your own items and all that stuff. Everyone can like get everything. Um, Progress is shared. So ideally, if we all beat Godric in this world, once you go back to your own world, you have Godric beaten in yours as well. So
Oh, wow.
yeah,
Okay.
it's really cool. Again, it's seamless. Seamless is in the name, and it really is seamless. There's just it works how it should have worked from the beginning, and it doesn't make the boss fights too easy either. Like there are settings you can adjust to where like the bosses scale depending on how many players are in the session.
Right.
So we have it set to for as many players that join the session, the boss's health bar doubles. So it's
Gotcha.
not like you're just 4 people wailing on a boss and it dies in 2 seconds. The,
Right.
uh, the challenge is still there. So, it's a really good time, if you ever decide to hop on with us, we got a lot of
I
fun.
may because it's like bittersweet to me because I'm like, oh man, like I'm so happy that they made it so much easier with this mod, but also like someone made a mod to do this, so that
Someone
means it
had
could have
to
been done to begin with.
Yeah, someone had to go out of their way to make a whole mod to make this co-op experience the way it should have been
Come on.
from the start.
But I would love to join you guys. It's basically our Baldur's Gate squad. I would love to
Yeah.
join you guys for this type of adventure where it's a little bit more eventful,
Yeah. Yeah.
and the pace is a little bit quicker.
Mhm.
Um, love the Baldur's Gate campaign with you guys, but
Sure.
I really enjoy FromSoft games, so I would, yeah, maybe very likely that I join you guys very soon.
Heck yeah, man. I'm excited for that. In my second little quick hit, I was at a retro game store yesterday and I bought a physical copy of Dragon Quest 3 HD 2D
Yeah,
for the Switch. Trying to support local retro game stores as well as get my physical collection of games up.
amazing.
Yeah, so
Have
I
you have
booted.
you tried it yet?
Yeah, I just booted it up. So like first like 20 seconds just to
Me
make
too.
sure
I
it was
have it. I have it myself for
nice.
at least for my Steam Deck. Um, but I my first, well, second 2D HD 3D game. So um, really excited to dig into that.
Yeah, dude, it's so beautiful. I love HD 2D, the art style and all that. It's great. So yeah, excited to dive into that. Maybe I'll bring it to the show once I make some progress in it. And yeah, that's what I got.
Nice. Let's see. My quick hits. I've played a little bit more of Metal Unit. I discussed it, I think, a long time ago. But I just needed a quick game to just sit with,
Mhm.
and totally forgot that it is a roguelike game.
Oh, nice.
Completely forgot. And I'm like, what am I doing? What's the progress like? Why am I in all these shops? But yeah, it's akin to, I don't know if there's anything like it that I've played, but any roguelike game like a Hades or whatever,
Mhm,
where you build up your tool set, your arsenal, you fight all these enemies in like a 2D platformer world,
mhm,
and you make your way towards the boss. Um, and there's like a cool story behind it. You play as this female protagonist who has like an Iron Man suit.
oh, nice.
Yeah, or like not even Iron Man, more like a Gundam suit at like person size. Um, and you can like upgrade it and stuff. So that's been really fun. I think my only thing with it is that I'm getting used to the controls, so I get jumbled up and I
Mhm,
have to start all over. But it's a roguelike, so it's not like I get like super frustrated with it.
right. That's
Um,
cool. I'm looking at it on Steam right now. I like the art style.
yeah, it was on sale when I got it. I forget for how much, but it's an indie developer, and they did a great job with it. It's yeah, it's great artwork, music. Could use a little bit more range and diversity with
Mhm,
enemies, but maybe it's I'm still early in the game and I haven't seen it yet. But
sure.
would recommend that for anyone curious and wants to pick it up. Um, Next, Gestalt Steam and Cinder
Mm,
is a Metroidvania game. I've brought it up before. It's like a steampunk vibe, Wild Wild West. Um, it's a lot harder than I thought it was.
yeah.
I've approached like a boss fight that seems pretty crucial to the story, and I don't have the patience to learn the pattern or like gets like grind for it just yet.
Mhm,
Uh, but it's still a very cool game. Pixel art, kind of like more advanced pixel art, but
mhm.
um, really cool, like world building and stuff like that. So I'm stuck at a boss, but hey, it's just it is what it is.
It's the name of the game.
Name of the game. I'll save Resident Evil for last. Need for Speed Hot Pursuit. I pick up from time to time. It's not very often, but is a nostalgic game for me.
Mhm.
I played it on a Switch, and it's cops and robbers, basically.
Sure.
It's really how I see it. It's cops and robbers. You're in a getaway car. You got to try to lose the cops, or you play as a cop and you got to catch the bad guy with like limited tools, but
Mhm,
basically by causing them to crash. Um, I don't play a lot of Need for Speed, not even a lot of racing games.
mhm.
But this one I have a soft spot for. I used to play on the GameCube at my cousin's house, and it is everything I remembered and more. I'm no motorhead,
Sure.
but I do like cars, so
Okay.
kind of fills in that void from time to time.
Nice.
And then lastly, Resident Evil 2. definitely have brought this up multiple times in the past. Um, it's I'm getting to the point where I can't think about it the way I do as I did with Resident Evil 4, Resident Evil 8
Mhm.
Village. Um, it is back to like pure survival horror where it's like you really have to scavenge and look at everything, read everything, review everything, and revisit a lot of rooms in order to make progress. Terry, we get back to the door conundrum where I cannot find the exact door I need to make progress. I can't do it.
Oh,
I
no.
so the past several times I've booted up this game, I'll play it for an hour and I'll open every single door I can, and nothing happens. And I sure there are some keys that I need. I don't know where those keys are. There are some codes that I need. I don't know where those codes are. Um, and now I'm getting frustrated. Great game. I can't wait to make progress. I just don't know how.
It was you gotta open up the door to your heart, Dan. That's what it
Yeah,
is.
that's
Mhm,
exactly what the characters need when the
mhm.
zombies are at their feet. So,
Yep.
um, might be a game that I use a walkthrough for, which is not very common for Resident
Oh,
Evil when I play through them. So, um, I don't know how people did it with even less back in the day, but
sure.
hopefully it doesn't take away too much from my experience.
Absolutely. Listen, a walkthrough, there's no shame behind it.
No shame behind doing the research and doing a
Mhm,
walkthrough. I've done it for big Final Fantasy games.
mhm.
But I just want like a little like snippet or a little bit of direction so that way the rest of it could be that self exploration.
Absolutely.
Unless the whole game is just doors, then forget it. I don't want to play through myself.
Oh, gotta talk to my therapist why I have so many problems with opening doors. Is there something behind this?
I thought of you when I was playing it yesterday. I'm like, you know what? It's just going to be such a simple door, and I have to tell them about it.
When you figure it out, please do let me know if it
Oh
was
yeah,
a simple
I
door.
absolutely will. Yeah, I'm gonna bang my head against the desk, but yeah,
I'm excited. Hell yeah.
but yeah,
Good stuff.
that's all I got for my quick hits this time around, and still chugging along and enjoying my experience with all the games I've talked about so far. And there's many more, but there's only so much time that we have together.
Only so much time. Dan has to get back to his family, and I have to, go do something, I guess.
Yeah, yeah.
Ladies, gentlemen, theys and thems, thank you for tuning in to another episode of the Double Kick podcast. I believe we're gonna be posting these on Wednesdays now. I think that's kind of like the vibe, just so I can get these like edited and put out on a faster basis between recording and editing, just so like we're a little more timely and stuff. With that being said, though, Dan, this with that new schedule, this episode should come out the day before Silk Song, so it's
Mhm.
very exciting. um, and yeah, good stuff. You can follow us on Instagram at Double Kick Games. It's where we post everything and all the stuff you need to know. Uh, until then, Dan, I had a great time.
Me too. Always a pleasure.
All right, adios, everybody.
See you guys.